One great thing about the Airstream is its iconic look. Having that aluminum shell makes it beautiful, but it also comes with a few drawbacks. One of those is how easy it is to damage that shell. The front of the Airstream has rock guards to keep any rocks from actually hitting the aluminum, but those can get damaged and dings too. There's a product called Rock Tamers that you hook onto the hitch of your truck, and it goes between your tires and those rock guards and tames the rocks. And by that I mean any rocks that your tires will kick up will hit the Rock Tamers and leave your Airstream alone. So I've ordered a set, just came in. I'm going to walk you through setting them up and putting them on my truck. Grab your tools. This is the Rock Tamer's mud flap system.
Actually, this is the box that it comes in.
It does come in different sizes. 2 inch is possibly the most popular, and that will fit a 3/4 ton, which is what we have. And these are adjustable to fit the width and height of your truck. So it's not a specific to your truck kind of thing. It's kind of a one size fits all, but again, make sure you're getting the right hitch size. And if you've got a super jacked up truck,
I don't know what to tell you.
it's a pretty good width size. We'll find out what the height is. Let's open this up and see what's inside. Let's do it this way. Hey, look at that. Instructions. Be right back. Instructions and flap are out. Haven't read the directions yet, but man, it's pretty. Pretty. And it smells like rich Corinthian leather.
Smells of rich mahogany.
Smells like metal and oil and rubber. It's kind of like a gas station. Along with the 2 flaps, it's the hitch mount, the flap holders, these bars that will attach to the hitch mount and the holders, the Rock Tamer guard things, various assorted nuts, bolts, and end caps. We are not going to use these because I have some that say Airstream on them. Ooh. The hitch mount is going to go right in between your hitch and the receiver, and it will sit like that. Obviously it won't sit on top. It will wrap around the hitch, so we've got to unlock this and get it set. First things first, we'll unlock the hitch lock. Take that out. Save that bad boy for later. Lift this out. Put that on. Just got heavier. Bad boy up. Lock it back up. And then take it back apart because we put it on backwards. That's better. In. Now we will tighten these bolts up so that it stays. I'm a tighten all the bolts when the job is done kind of guy, so we'll come back and torque these down later to specs. We're now going to loosen and or remove each of these. I removed one and ended up chasing the nut down through the gravel, so loosen them, took those off. You'll take these flap support bars, and take this nut and the end cap off of each of them. That is a 5/16. Take that cap off, put them in the side like so. Redo the cap, put that bolt back in, tighten it down. Just like so. Same for the other side. Pretty simple so far. So I want these holes to be horizontal back to front so you can see through them back here. I'm going to slide the flap clamps over the end with bolt holes to the back of the vehicle. Don't tighten anything down, don't even put bolts in yet, because we're going to figure out how long the flaps need to be. The other side. So now you want to make sure that these are fairly level, and then you are going to measure from the bottom of the flap to the ground. I had to move the truck out onto pavement because evidently my parking spot's a little swampy, but unless you have a three-legged truck, it's kind of limpy in the back, you should end up with the same measurement on either side. So we're at 20 inches. Put this truck back, drive. But we ended up at 20. So you're going to want to cut those flaps so that you have 3 to 4 inches of ground clearance here. I'm going to start with 3. Larry does not sag much when he's holding Amelia. So you remember when we measured, came up with 20, took 3 off, so I'm at 17 again, 3 to 4 inches. Measure up from the bottom, find the nearest cut, pre-cut mark, which is right here for the holes, and that's where you will make your cut across the flap. I highly recommend you have some scrap wood under it when you're making the cut so that you're not marring up your work surface or dulling your cutting knife that we're going to use to measure this. Again, 17 right here. Let's mark that. Alright, there we go. We want to use a straight edge of some type also to make sure that you're keeping a nice straight cut across that. Alright, measure 15 times. Cut once, you only get one shot at it. This one, this straight edge I have, a small space living. There, let's see if we can get a nice straight cut across that. Not cut our fingers off. Pretty decent cut, and I still have all my fingers. Let's flip it and continue the other way. Flip it. Flip it good. And we'll just bring it on over from there. Bring it on over. Just like that. Too late to measure, but let's make sure, huh? Oh, yep. Looking good. I know you'd think it might be cool to have them closer to the ground than 3 inches, but you'll be dragging them across every speed bump in town. All right, next flap, please. Cutting on this one. And we'll measure to make sure. Oh yeah. There. All right. Now, they include a handy dandy punch, and which glad they do. You'll need to punch these holes out so that you can mount it to the flap holders. I'll show you right here on this one. Punch. Never said it would be easy. Nothing to it. Two down. Three down, two down. On this one. Hey, let's move you over here. Give you a better shot. You can see more than just my hand. Why didn't you say something? D, we can't see. Speak up. Don't be shy. That was tough. Because you're watching. One more. On this one. There you go. I won't make you watch the other side. So with those holes punched, we can now mount onto the flap holders. So remember, square holes are going to go to the back of the vehicle. So you want to line these up on the mud flap on the pretty side out. If these don't go, you can use a little dish soap. Something to make it fit. All right, lines up fairly well. We're going to put the bolts in. They go on like bolts. Put those nuts on there like so. Right, to put these trim plates on, you're going to get a spacer like this that's going to go in each of these holes. And then you're going to throw the trim plate on, put a bolt through, washer, and a nut. Now we got the 760. Yep, 10 millimeter. They provide this. You have to provide your own 10 millimeter. Alright, tighten them down. Shoo-ba-doo up. Repeat that 7 more times and then 8 times on the other one. Do not over tighten these. You want them to be snug, because if you over tighten them, you will damage the trim plate. And then it's time to put the flaps on the flap support rods. And this is why you don't tighten these down. So if you tighten them down, they won't fit on the rods. Ask me how I know. Again, you'll need these that way so these can hang and have that go in. Technical terms, these and them. Slides on. This part you need to adjust it for your particular vehicle. I already did the height, but the width. You want it to stick out a couple inches past the end of the tire. If you've pulled your Airstream, you know that it's much wider than in your truck, unless you're a dually. So it can stick out a little bit and still not be as wide as your Airstream is going to be. That in place, these are meant to be adjusted in case you need to be farther away or closer to your bumper. I'm pretty sure that I can be straight up and down on it, and everything will be good. So we'll tighten that down, but first I'm going to align this on that hole. Again, adjustments will need to be made, but make sure that it's straight through and your flap is hanging straight down. Take this bolt, this nut, put them through here to hold everything in place. This one is a 5/16. All right, it's gonna hold it. Now you can tighten these up, put your end pieces in, so it's not going anywhere. Accidental tip: if you haven't tightened these down yet, it makes it a lot easier to get back to these to tighten them down. We provided some of these little covers to go right on the end of those. Keep your bumper nice and shiny. Alright, I'll do the other side. We'll come back and finish tightening. With those tightened up, it's just time to tighten these down and then secure this to the hitch. We'll torque that to 120 foot-pounds. It has been about 3 months already since I put the Rock Tamers on, and they have worked out absolutely amazingly well. We've been for a decent-sized road trip, our trip to California, as you know. No issues whatsoever. I want to answer a couple questions that nobody has asked me yet, but I'm sure that somebody will, and that is, how do you store them when you take them off? The first part is, I don't usually take them off. They look good on there, get a lot of good compliments, a lot of questions on them, and they're heavy duty, heavy weight. The part of the hitch, you can take them off, but I don't. When we were traveling somewhere and we're looking to take up a little less space, because Larry's a pretty good size, we will take the hitch off and leave it either behind the Airstream or just on the door side in the back. As I mentioned, it's heavy. Nobody's going to be walking off with this. Do they work? Well, they must. I don't have any new dings in the Airstream. I can't see if there have been any rocks that have hit the back of the mud flaps, but I feel better knowing that they're there. So go out, get yourself a set them up, easy peasy. The toughest part is cutting through the rubber, but putting them on is really simple, and they're going to save wear and tear and rock chips on your trailer.
When I'm without you, don't know what to do. Every time